All right, what's up? This should be the final of the night. I really did not feel like doing this because I am now nicely overwhelmed by all the craziness that is happening in my life. So remember when I told you about that guy that I met going to the go see that said that he was a regional director. All right, let me tell you how that came about. And I think I may have told you before, but I'm revisiting that story now because I just talked to him. So here's the situation. I was going to just go see. I saw the guy, and out of being friendly or being nice, and you go into a potential workplace, I started just to be, to wave, and then I stopped myself because I was like, well, what if you wave at this person, they take it the wrong way, and they think you're flirting or whatever, and you do not want that situation. So I just openly told him, I was like, hi, I didn't want to just walk past you and not speak. You speak, so it was kind of weird because I didn't want to walk past you and not speak. And so I was starting to say hello. And then so I went into the office. When I went into the office, then this I'm gonna tell y'all, this is something really crazy going on. So when I went into the office, he then asked me for my name. Then he asked me for my last name. And I was like, well, I don't give out, my personal information that way. Then he says to me, well, I'm the regional director, and I'm thinking this guy is joking. This guy is joking or just being, one of those types of people. And I just was like, I just can't, I didn't say anything else, went on about my business. I thought he was joking. So he went back into the other room. I didn't pay any attention to him. I thought maybe he was an employee there or something like that. So I go on through the process of where I'm talking to this guy. The guy that I'm talking to, as we're talking and everything, here comes this man again that says he's a regional director. He comes back and he starts, to ask me more questions while the guy is in the middle of talking to me. So I answer his questions, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, if he wants to know more, he's more than welcome to do like a second interview or whatever. Or, hey, when the guy that was talking to me gave me the piece of paper, it had his name on it as a regional director. So I knew that he was a regional director at that point because somebody cared enough to type it up on a piece of paper and give it to the new employees and whatever like that. So I'm like, fine, okay, great. So he is a regional director. Okay, maybe I'm coming off rude. So here, let me go ahead and give him my information personally. But in the back of my mind, the closed part of me is just like, it's on my application. If he wants it, he can get it from there, But I'm like, okay, fine. So let me extend that to him. And so I said, it's not a problem. He started talking to me about, he was like, do you want the red pill or the blue pill or something crazy like that? And I'm just like, fine. He's a regional director. He can say whatever he wants to say, and it can be as convoluted as he wants it to be because he is the person with the gonads right now. So I'm like, fine, okay. Here's because he's, interrupted wise. This man's talking to me. So I'm like, here, let me write down my information if that's okay with you. And you can share with me whatever it is that you want to share with me at another time. But let me give you a warning. I don't ever answer my phone. So it will go to voicemail. When I have an opportunity, I promise you that I will contact you back. Bam. Left it at that. So, okay, so we ascertained that this man is the regional director, or so it says on the paper, and everybody's agreeing with it. That's there. So when I went back to talk to the guy I was talking to, I said, oh, so he really is the regional director. I thought he was joking. And he didn't say anything. He remained silent. Now, talking back about the legal system again, I'm going to tell y'all, when this thing came, of course, due to the situation and all the court dates and stuff like that, I ended up losing my job, and then with that, the type of work that I did with the temporary things like that, I wasn't able to continue to do it, or I didn't feel right and continue to do that because, when you have that, you're going to different places. And I felt it so ironic that I was trusted, with so much, so much of everything. And then all of that was taken away from me in a day. Now, something just buzzed here. Now, with this man, when I'm telling you about this guy, when I'm going back to the legal thing because the same situation is happening. Because when I was going through that system, like after that happened, when I went to go look for jobs, there would be strange people that showed up. Like one company, the people that actually, you could tell that these people that came didn't really work for the company. And if you've ever been in a legal situation, y'all know what I'm talking about because they're doing an investigation or whatever it is, and they're not discreet about it at all. I'm not sure why, but it's like they want you to know that that's what they're doing. Okay, so when I was went to this company and they tried to, like, I had all different kind of people approach me, like weird, just weird people that I would never ever meet on a daily basis. And I guess, and coincidentally, this guy told me that he's a profiler. Okay, now I mention this because during that legal situation, I had all types of weird people approach me that I would never ever ever talk to, like in real life, like that we would never cross paths, and even if they did speak to me, there would be a different air about it. But I had weird people approach me, and they weren't subtle about letting me know that somehow they were affiliated with this thing. Somehow they let me know about FBI. They, like, just crazy, biogenetical engineering. I'm telling y'all, it was crazy. Okay, and let me share with this situation. There was a lot of situations, and they're all coming back to me right now. But there was one where I went to this company. It was downtown Miami. I forget what floor it was on. Really nice building. And I didn't realize it's right across from the FBI headquarters. And so when I went to this building, I went to interview, and there were young people that were working there. And when I came in, she looked at me, the girl that was the receptionist or whatever, she was shaking and she was like, good luck. Like, she was scared. You know what I'm saying? Scared for some reason. They took me into this big boardroom. The big boardroom that I was in walked this man and this woman. They looked like, remember there's a painting with the old man and the old woman with pitchforks standing in front of a barn. They looked exactly like that. Now the old man and the old woman came in, and you could tell that again they were with, I don't know, FBI, CIA, whatever. And to me, I think when you would never think that for something like this, but you don't know what type of things they're involved in and why. It may be something completely different that they're into or whatever. I don't know what the situation was. But the man, he did the quote unquote interview. And I don't think he was a real interviewer. I think, again, he was just gaining information from me. And that's what I think this guy here that says he's a regional director, he's doing the exact same thing. Because, again, all of them that I've run into, and I call them handlers, but these people that are somehow affiliated with this governmental organization, they always do it. It's like it's necessary that they have to somehow introduce into the fact that they work with the system in some kind of way. Like, that's part of their premise. I don't know if it's to, like, incite some type of fear. I don't know what the situation is. But anyhow, they sat there and they did their quote unquote interview. And like I said, the girl, she was really uncomfortable, when she brought me into the room, because she knew that these people didn't work here and something wasn't right. Now, when the guy, he asked me questions about my family and asked me, then he made a mention of something, and this was during a job interview, okay? Then he was like, oh, so she's the black sheep of the family. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa. And at that time, if I didn't know about it. Everything to me was just, I was in a situation. I'm trying to get everything straight so I can go back to my family. I didn't know about it if that was true. So obviously, I don't know if they did some type of investigation, and based on the responses that they got, that was it. These people definitely were. And then another situation, I was on a Metro Mover. All of these situations are just crazy. On a Metro Mover, there was this guy, this huge guy, and actually, I didn't meet him on the Metro. I was on a Metro Mover, and I noticed him watching me. Huge black guy, like, had to be like 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. And he had two bodyguards, like two white bodyguards with the earpieces. And I'm just thinking to myself, I knew who he was, but I was thinking to myself, okay, could you have possibly been, and could you have, I mean, could you possibly have been more obvious? You know what I'm saying? Could you, at least try to be discreet about it? But he was definitely FBI, CIA. That's what I knew already immediately. And I'm like, those people don't ride the Metro Mover. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he was watching me. And after that situation happened, my driver's license, what I did was I hole punched it and I put it on a key ring, because I didn't like that legal thing, because it made me feel like I had a reason to be embarrassed about me. But no, I didn't, because I was a victim of the system and I wanted to be able to show who I was proudly. That's why I used my full name with all of my everything, because they want to put you in a situation where you're hiding, or that you feel like you're, whatever it is they want to portray you to be. And so he was obvious, he's on a Metro Mover, huge guy, filled the doorways by himself, his 6'6", 300 something pounds, two white bodyguards or some type of things. They look like bodyguards with the things in their ears and whatever. And I got off the Metro Mover. And when I was on the Metro Mover, like I said, it was so obvious. He started talking to me. He was just like, oh, you really shouldn't do that. And he meant my driver's license on my keyring. And I was like, I have nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I have absolutely nothing to hide. But he said, you shouldn't do it. It can get into the wrong hands. And I didn't say anything, And then when I got off of the Metro Mover, this man followed me. He followed me off of the Metro Mover down the stairs. And again, I am responding, and that might be the purpose of this guy that says he's a regional director. Maybe the purpose of him, letting me know. He told me he was a profiler. He didn't say previously, but he said he worked as a profiler for the state. So I don't know if he still does or not, because we were not able to complete that conversation. But I will complete it tomorrow, because I'm interested in knowing, what the hell is going on. So, because it's weird. It's all of this stuff that's happening is absolutely weird. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like, it's just weird. So, with this man, he followed me down the stairs. And I'm gonna tell you, in my former life, before this legal thing happened, he would have been my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? This big, huge black guy, 6'6". I love big black men. Who doesn't? I love, so I'm just like, that would have been the type. And with his own business, what he came to me with, let me tell you what he said to me when he followed me down the stairs of the Metro Mover. He says to me, excuse me, I would like to give you my card. And, I read it, and I forgot what it says, but he has his on. I told him that I was currently going through a legal situation, and, because he asked me what type of work do I do. And I said, I'm currently going through a legal situation but I'm an executive administrative assistant by trade. And then he was just like, oh, and I was like, well, I find it difficult to, get back into my position because I have all these court days, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, why don't you come and work for me? And I was just like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I need to finish doing what I'm doing. So he gave me his card, and he said for me to call him. I never, ever called him. I looked him up on the internet. He was with the FBI, CIA. And to me, like, when they put people like that in your path, they want you to know who they are, because they want to elicit a fear response from you. Okay? And because and I know that if they want somebody to be undercover, then you're not going to be found. You know what I'm saying? And so he told me that's why he's coming to me, because I expressed that to him, because he worked in I said, that's the FBI building. And he was like, yeah, I know. He worked in the FBI building. That's the building where the FBI is housed. And you guys, this is just so much. It's crazy. But so I said to him, well, I'll think about it. We'll see, And so when I looked him up, he was an ex-football player. I forget what football team he was, but this dude was absolutely ginormous. He's a huge, huge guy. And he did play football. And it just blows my mind thinking about it, because now it's all coming back with this guy here. And this guy is not attractive or nothing like that, but I'm going to tell y'all in a minute. So then also when I read up on him, he's into like biogenetical engineering, something about superhumans. I'm like, this is some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Why the hell is this guy approaching me? And at that time I was fit. I was in really good shape, and it was just the weirdest thing. So I never called him, because it made my skin crawl just thinking about it. There's going to be a part 2 to this in just a minute. Oh,